Hi everyone and welcome to Steve's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making goo or flubber or slime, whatever you call it. My nephew calls it slime and he asked me if I'd make it for him. So here's the recipe. Now as a double little treat today, we're also going to be making some Silly Putty. Now Silly Putty, it snaps when you pull it apart. You can roll it up into a ball and you can bounce it to a degree. So let's get on and make slime and Silly Putty. Now the two ingredients you're going to need to make your flubber or glue or slime are PVA glue and borax. Now borax you can normally find in the laundry section of your supermarket. Now I want two bowls to mix in, and each bowl is going to have 1 cup of water. Now into the first bowl we're going to add 1 teaspoon of borax and just give that a mix through. Then into the second bowl with just a cup of water in, we're just going to add a cup of PVA glue. And then mix that through, and you're going to end up with a really watery PVA glue here. So we've now got a mixture that resembles a thick cream. Now at this point we can add our colouring. Now my nephew's favourite colour was blue, but I'm going to make a green slime because a little later on in the video I'm going to be doing something with his favourite colour, blue. So just a drop or so of colouring into the wet glue. So there I've mixed that through until I've got this lovely slimy green colour. Now at this point we're going to take our PVA mixture and we're just going to pour it bit by bit into the borax water solution, just a little bit at a time. And you'll see there the reaction, you get this sort of slimy reaction happening with the water and PVA mixture. And what's happening is the borax is almost sort of washing the stickiness out of the glue. So continue to mix that through, and you're starting to get this sort of clumpy sliminess happening. So you can see the slime has started to set in the borax solution. And now we can just pull this out and put it away into a clean bowl. And we can discard this solution. We just want to drain the liquid off of our slime. And now take the slime out of the bowl and pop it onto your side and start to work it together. And start to sort of just knead it together, squish it and squash it together. You'll feel at first that it's still got some stickiness in it, but eventually it'll start to gel nicely together. Eee, this is disgusting. Nikhil, this is disgusting, my friend. What a horrible... Who would want to make this sort of product? Who would want to make slime? I know I do. Now at first it feels a little bit crumbly, everything sort of breaks apart, but just keep working it, be patient, and eventually you'll have a lovely smooth slime consistency. And there you have it. After a little bit of working, a little bit of patience, you've got that lovely slimy, gooey slime which runs down your hand. You can try and sort of stretch it out as thin as you possibly can. So there you have a big, beautiful hunk of flubber or slime or goo as my nephew calls it. It's lots of fun to play with. Now, when I was a little kid, there was another great thing. Find yourself an old jar or something to store this in, but you used to always keep it in the jar and I knew there was one other thing that we did with slime when we were kids. Now store your slime in a Ziploc bag, an airtight container, or an old jam jar even with a lid on it, and it'll last for ages. So there you have it, guys. Green slime. Now hang around, Nikhil. I've got another little trick to show you with your favourite colour, blue. Now this is a very similar recipe, slight variation, but it gives you another product which is a lot of fun. So same bowls, I'm putting 1 tablespoon this time of water, And we just need a pinch of borax, maybe half a teaspoon, no, a quarter of a teaspoon. And just give that a little mix through. Then in our second bowl, and this is where the ingredients change slightly, we're going to put a tablespoon of cornstarch or corn flour and 1 tablespoon of our PVA glue. So equal amounts of corn flour to PVA. And at this point we're going to choose our colour, and for you, Nikhil, I'm going for blue. So a few drops of blue food colouring into that. Take a teaspoon and mix the two together. Now it doesn't have to be mixed particularly thoroughly. We're just going to take now about half a teaspoon from our borax water solution and pop it into this bowl, and then mix it through again. I'm going to add another half a teaspoon and continue to mix. Now I want to mix this through until it's easy enough for me to handle. It's still very sticky, and I've had the experience before of taking out too early, your hands get covered in glue. So I'm going to add another half a teaspoon in there. So that's 3 half teaspoons so far. And now you can see that's starting to ball together nicely. At this point I can take my hands in there and just get that out in a little lump. Now using the bowl with the borax in, we just dip that in there and then start to roll it around in our fingers. It still will be a little bit sticky, but start to work that together. We're trying to get Silly Putty. Now Silly Putty is a heap of fun. It has the consistency of putty, but when you ball it together it bounces and it snaps when you pull it apart. That's virtually there. You might want to dip it one more time in the borax just to get any of the residual stickiness off of it. So there it is, Silly Putty. Lots of fun to make. Now, I thought we were getting dirty, we might as well make 2 things for the price of 1. It's been lots of fun, guys. Stay in touch, subscribe and comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. 2 balls of Silly Putty. See you in the next video. Be good. Many years ago, my wife used to make a lot of Play-Doh for the kids, the method that we use doesn't involve the pan and having to heat it. It's much simpler, and it also doesn't get your hands all covered in the food dye. So I'll show you our method. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Now, if you get time, go down and give me the thumbs up. There's a little button down there. If you click it, I'd really appreciate it. And as always, love it if you'd subscribe to the channel.